I mean, how much have you looked into the science of weight cutting?
Yeah, it's there are certain drugs you can use that I believe aren't banned that you can do like pretty hyper aggressive fat loss in short condensed time frames. And
Like what drugs?
like, have you ever heard of DNP?
No.
Dinitrophenol. It was used in explosives in World War One, and then they found out that after the workers were like creating the bombs, they were overheating and dying, and they figured out it was because it was being absorbed transdermally and increasing their metabolism so much that they were like internally overheating.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they marketed it as a fat loss agent for however many years in like I don't know, like decades ago, like almost a fucking 100 years ago at this point. And people started dying because it's very easy to miscalculate your dose or use like the lethal dose is not that far from the effective dose.
Oh god.
And people were overheating and dying, and they took it off the market and it's become illegal. But as far as I know, I don't think they actually test for it in USADA. Like if you put in like their drug database 2,4-dinitrophenol, I don't think they test for it. And there are certain other things too, but like there are a lot of loopholes on, like I don't even think they test for like stimulants outside of competition either, like amphetamines and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah, so there are like a lot of things you could do to like nuke your appetite, increase fat energy expenditure significantly, drop water weight potentially more aggressively, and cut harder than would otherwise be like naturally possible potentially. Yeah. So I don't necessarily think that he's doing all these things, but when you see a guy lose like fucking 60 pounds or something, you can only imagine he's looking for any loophole that.
What about stuff like semaglutide?
That as well. Yeah, that is.
Is that legal in USADA?
You could check easily. There's like, it's like UFC DRO, and you type in the database any drug name, and it'll say in competition, out of competition, allowed or not. I imagine GLP-1 agonists are not restricted because it's like used to treat type 2 diabetes or obesity at the higher dosages, and super effective. Yeah.
So does that just curb your appetite? Is that what that stuff does? Semaglutide
Yeah.
does?
So it basically makes you feel satiated way easier, essentially. Like your compulsion to eat is like so dramatically hindered that you're way more likely to stick to a diet. Like even individuals, like if you become a morbidly obese person, sometimes there are genetic predispositions at play for sure, but in addition, a lot of these individuals, they lack willpower to stick to a diet and like follow a well thought out like exercise regimen or whatever. Like to get to that point, many of them do lack the willpower necessary because they're just, succumb to cravings and whatnot. And not every individual has the same like hunger, appetite, satiety feedback signals that, the next guy might have who's super lean. And that's why they can walk around lean, because they just don't get as hungry. And these individuals, like even like the morbidly obese, really fat motherfuckers, they would end up losing like 30 pounds plus on average when they use this stuff, when they were testing it for type 2 diabetes, and they started ramping up the dose and found that there was like an obesity management dose that was like hyper effective for these guys to lose 30 40 pounds, which is like very, very effective for managing hemoglobin A1C, fasting insulin levels, fasting glucose levels, and becoming far more healthy individuals as a result. But it's as a consequence of the weight loss. But these individuals would typically overeat otherwise, and they start using this drug, and all of a sudden they don't feel compelled to eat nearly as many calories.
Interesting.
So if you're like a fighter who's aggressively cutting, like you still have the same cravings as anybody else who's following a diet model of any sort, like trying to get the single digit body fat to step on a, weigh in before fight night and you're water depleted, whatever. Like you can imagine you would just love to eat a piece of chocolate right now, or like anything. Like your cravings are through the goddamn roof because your body's feedback signals are screaming at you to eat nutrients.
Yeah.
So trying to like fight back against that with pharmacology would absolutely be useful.
Do you think that using semaglutide though would affect physical performance because of the diminished appetite? Is there any other sort of feedback loop that would let you, like maybe you wouldn't take in the nutrients that are necessary to have a good workout or something?
Potentially. Like it, there we
Not
go.
prohibited.
Yeah.
Semaglutide in competition, not prohibited out of competition.
This is something that is
Interesting.
just being learned about. Like in the health space, health and wellness and actual like scientific community, semaglutide has been known about for a long time because it was used to manage type 2 diabetes, but only more recently has it started to pick up steam and popularity for its effects on obesity because all these crazy headlines started coming out about people losing 30, 40 plus pounds
Yeah.
who otherwise couldn't. And as far as how it would affect a fighter's ability to assimilate nutrients, stuff like that, yeah, it like slows gastric emptying significantly, can cause like pretty intense GI issues, make you nauseous. Maybe you don't even want to eat the food that you need to eat if you're, kind of depends on what situation you're imposing on yourself. But yeah, like it's not a side effect free drug by any means. Like some
That would
people,
be significant. That would be a real problem, I would think. Don't you think?
yeah, it depends on your individual response. Like, there are a lot of individuals using it. Like even Elon Musk uses it now.
What?
Yeah, he posted a tweet. It was like somebody was like, "Hey Elon, how are you so lean now?" Or like, "How'd you lose the weight?" And he was like, "Fasting and Wegovy." And Wegovy is the branded 2.4 milligram increment of semaglutide. So it's like the highest dose you could be using.
Wow.
Yeah,
So how's he look now?
a lot thinner.
Does he?
Yeah.
Show a picture of Elon Musk looking jacked. Like that. Have you seen that thing that
Oh, yeah.
Beeple made us?
Yeah,
That's
thing's
Elon.
crazy.
That's supposed to be, it's called Giga Chad.
As if he was
That's Elon.
following the 9 ancestral tenets.
Yeah, if he was like just eating raw liver,
Yeah.
sunning his balls. He said he used popular weight loss drug to get fit, ripped, and healthy. He does look thinner there.
Yeah, there we go. That was the tweet.
Let's see. Oh yeah, looks quite a bit thinner. Well, you know what? There was a photo of him on a yacht where he looked like a wine barrel.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
got big.
That's
But the guy
that's
works fucking 16 hours a day.
sometimes it's unflattering angles though. You're, pushing your stomach
His
out,
answers in
whatever.
3 tweets.
A little fasting and Wegovy.
Yeah. So Wegovy is like there are different increments of dosage from the company that makes it, and the lower dosage, like the drug is semaglutide, and I think the lower one is called Ozempic, and it's for diabetes management, but it's basically just like a pen that's like in 1 milligram increments, and that's the diabetes management dose. There's other smaller increments too, but 2.4 milligrams is like the max well-tolerated dose, where for obesity management it's like significantly more effective.
I would think that for a fighter, if that really does have all those gastrointestinal issues and
Yeah, the net ROI might be negative for some of
yeah,
them.
I would think so.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah. What other thing?
It's a limited supply for that drug right now.
Of course. We've talked about it 15 times. You can't get it. All these fat people are so mad. Yeah. Well, lose weight.